She's selling, I think, wants to sell 147
And that's, yeah.
I debated it.
Yeah.
But then I saw the Corvette shirt and I said, oh yeah, this is the right guy.
This is the right person, yeah.
Thanks.
All right, it is 7 o'clock, so we'll get rolling. I call the Select Board meeting for Monday, March 9th, 2026 to order. We are coming from the training room of the Public Safety Complex, and we are available on Zoom. I don't know if anybody has zoomed in yet, but I believe Mr. Wenzel said he was going to be joining us at least. Let's get right to consent items. Number one is to approve the meeting minutes from the regular meeting held February 9th, 2026. Was that our last meeting?
Yes.
Wow, because it had snow. And appoint Tara Rondo as to the Insurance Advisory Committee with a term ending June 30th, 2026. May I have a motion to approve the consent items?
I move that we approve the consent items.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? We don't have anybody on Zoom, so all in favor signify by saying aye.
Do you need a second first?
Don't, did I
Second.
get a second?
Second.
Chris seconded.
Oh, okay. Aye.
Thank you, Julia.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right. Up next, presentation by Stephen Hare in regard to the DCR acquisition of a property adjacent to Moore State Park. Mr. Hare,
All righty.
it's always a pleasure to see you. Welcome.
I know, it's been a while, Pete.
It's been a while, my friend.
Yeah.
I think since before our mutual friend died, and we used to have lunch at Val's.
Yes. Yes, we did. Yeah. Well, listen, I have copies for you of the maps of the, and by the way, I appreciate your time. I won't keep you long, I swear. I won't keep you long on this, but I just want you to see
Thank you.
what we're talking about.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, I have two.
Well, we have an opportunity. I'm a former employee.
Why don't you go right to the podium so you can come through on the mic?
Okay.
I want the people at home to be able to hear you.
Sure, yep.
Thank you.
Sure. I'm a former teacher up at Wachusett Regional. My summer job was at Moore State Park, and I've worked there for, 22 years. I haven't worked for a couple of years now, but I love the place. I used to play there as a kid, and we've got a chance from a gentleman that owns property that borders on our Carruth Road Trail, which is off of Brigham Road. We have a person who really wants to sell the land to DCR. He wants to keep it open space. And there's 300 acres, and it borders, if you were to get down from, let's say from, I don't know, we call it Pierce's Farm. I don't know what it's called right now.
Yep.
Anyway, you could go up Brigham and go around the corner down the hill, just to the right. That's where the entrance to this trail is, and it goes all the way to the golf course. And we own just about everything except for 300 acres on the right that is owned by Mr. Christopher Slade of Keyway Realty. Okay? And he's not feeling very well now, and he's had it for decades. I'll bet you he has had the land for at least 30 years, if not more. Never done anything with it. But he wants to sell it now. And our land acquisition specialist, our land protection specialist, Miss Lonnie Fournier, she wants to buy it, as DCR property, which would obviously Moore State Park would take charge of it. And it's a wonderful opportunity to add another 300 acres of open space. The only thing that would really affect possible development, if they were looking, would be the front field. The back field is smaller, and then it's all woods, swamp, and it's the source of one of our brooks, the Carruth Road Brook. And that Carruth Trail used to be an old road back in the 1740s when the second murder of a white man and another white man took place on the road when a Scotsman by the name of Campbell was a landowner and a farmer, made the mistake of hiring one of my brethren, an Irishman, to work for him. And obviously, something was an argument. The Irishman killed the Scotsman, and he hid the body in the wood pile or something. They finally found it, and they charged him and hung him, hung the poor Irishman. Anyway, that's one of the historical aspects. And the road was closed in 1823. And when the Spalding sold the whole estate to us, Dennis Milliken was one of the chief people down there that ran the place, and he was responsible for helping to purchase a lot of the land. That was one of the purchases, and I believe it was a fellow that lived up on Brigham Road. I can't think of his name right now, but he sold 47 acres, and we procured that area that was very close and bordered the Carruth Road Trail. And this is a real great chance to extend that another 300 acres, and it's basically, nice woods. If you can see on this sheet here, I couldn't believe the wildlife signs that I saw. And it doesn't have an abundance of invasive plants, the whole wood area. And you can move over. There's 4 little pathways that one straight Carruth Road, and then there's one that goes downhill to the brook, one that goes up to the right, which is Mr. Slade's property that we're trying to buy. And it's beautiful land. It has two big swamps. One swamp with its 3 brooks actually form our Carruth Road Brook that goes all the way underneath Nanigan Road and into Thompson Pond. So it's really a great place. I know our person in DCR, the land acquisition specialist, if I haven't repeated myself here, really love to see us get this land. I can't tell you what the price would be or anything like that, but obviously DCR would be taking care of that. Let's see, some of the things here. Okay, I mentioned that. It is 300 acres. And I recently spoke to Mr. Henry Beth, who is a lawyer for Mountain, Dearborn, and Whiting. He's Mr. Slade's lawyer, and I've talked to him about 5 times. Recently, about 3 days ago, and he's still really jacked up to sell the place. And our staff down at Moore State Park is thrilled to think that we could possibly have another. So I guess what I'm looking for, is to get some support, maybe a letter to the address that's on the bottom of the page, Ms. Lonnie Forney, Land Protection Specialist, or perhaps a letter of support for purchasing the land. It looks right now as though it's kind of a positive situation down there. I think they would really like to buy it. I know that. And I know my supervisor down at Moore State Park would really love to get the land. And it's something that, we would go out and take care of the trail and everything like that. And, I don't think we put a new one in there because you don't want to, put too many paths in and make it, that's. So I guess what I'm looking for is a little support. I know I've had a meeting with the Conservation Committee, and they were very positive about the thing. I know Jimmy is here tonight to kind of back me up in case I get too nervous. But yeah, so I've written this inclusions and benefits on here. I gave you a map. And it kind of, if you read where it says top, you can kind of see where the Carruth Road, where Brigham Road goes, and then down here, you can see the trail. We own all the way up to about there. and we own just about everything on this side of the trail. You know, did I pass the big map out to you? Is that there? Let me,
Oops.
Yeah, all good. All right. You can kind of see it here. Is everybody able to see that? There's Brigham, and it goes down, and then the Brigham, and then the Carruth Road Trail goes up here. We own all of this. This is the Keyway Realty up here. Okay? 300 acres worth. There's a big swamp over here which forms the brook, along with two other smaller brooks that are in there. And up in here, in this area here, is woods. Out by 122 is one big field. You can see that if you go by. And in back there's another field, a smaller field, that's in great shape. There's a Rutland farmer that takes care of that every year. I don't know if he would keep doing that for us. I hope so. But that's basically it. Would you like me to just leave it here or something, or do you think
It's okay.
you got that?
What do you guys want?
Well, that's just, you
Here,
can pass
I've got room
you
here.
can pass it
Yeah.
around and so forth. It gives you a better feel for the place than the smaller map, I think. Excuse me. Yeah, I've also included in there the, I think there was a letter I wrote Mrs. Fournier there that,
Yeah.
you know, I think that's there. And then there's the letter to Mr. Beth, the lawyer. And then I have the Rutland Keyway Realty, the property that's in Rutland, which is about 40 acres. And in Paxton, I'd say there was somewhere in the vicinity 260 acres. And you can see both the Rutland, I've kind of marked out. There's four little squares that this guy owns, plus a 30-acre plot and a 6.56 acre plot. That's in Rutland. That's about 40 acres. And then if you turn the page and take a look at the Paxton one, you can see where the road goes up to Turkey Hill Road. You can see it's about 33 acres, 206 acres below, most of which is forested, all right? And then there's 20 acres right on the road, right on Pleasant Street. And that would be a great addition to Moore State Park. And, you know, the place is a jewel, it's a gem. I can't, you know, it's getting more popular as each year goes on. People love it, and, you know. And we've got a great staff down there. They keep taking away positions and things like that. We could use about 5 full-time people, at least from the spring until the fall, the middle of the fall. But right now, there's only 2, and they work their tails off. I tell you, they're very, very good. And I volunteer up there a little bit, and I'll be doing that again this year. So I'm too old to get a job up there now. So I guess that's, without further ado, I guess that's kind of, I guess my purpose is to garnish a little support from the selectmen, and maybe if you could write a letter to that lady that I have listed on the front page.
There has been a letter provided for us, should we decide to offer our support, that we could sign and send right off.
Oh, that'd be great.
Any questions for Mr. Hare?
No, I can't think of any.
I don't have.
Can't think of it.
That means your presentation was outstanding. Which means then that all we would need is a motion to sign the letter of support and have that sent off to Ms. Fournier.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we support the letter that's been provided for a DCR acquisition of the Paxton Rutland Keyway Realty property adjacent to Moore State Park.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion before we vote? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And chair votes aye. We will sign the
Thank
letter
you
of
so
support
much.
and we will
This
get that right
really
out.
help. It looks pretty good right now. I'm hoping that it stays that way, and I'm sure that, you know, with yours and the conservation's help, I'm pretty sure we'll get it. I'm
Oh.
hoping so.
Keep us
Yeah.
informed.
Yeah, let us know, and
I will, I'll...
we wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, I won't keep you in a mysterious area with it, so.
All
Thank
right.
you very much. I
Thank
appreciate
you. Thank you so much for
Yep.
coming.
Don't forget your map.
Oh, I would have.
There you go, sir.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you.
Steve, thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jim, nice to see you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Okay, so we will sign that and get that off, and... All right, up next. Now, the agenda item says, meeting with Capital Improvement Planning Committee, and when this agenda was drafted, we put it in that way thinking that it was a possibility we would be meeting with Capital tonight. I did hear from the chair of the Capital Committee, after several emails, that he is not happy that it says meet with the Capital Improvement Planning Committee, and he wanted me to make clear that it was never their intention to necessarily come in tonight. They hadn't accepted it. Matter of fact, he wanted it made clear that as of 12:59 on March 3rd, he had written an email saying that he wouldn't be here. So I want to make it clear to everyone that we are not expecting the Capital Improvement Planning Committee to be here. It's not that they just didn't show up, but it was just on the agenda.
Fair enough.
I hope that takes care of that bit of business. Next, we got to review the Capital Improvement Planning Committee's project report and recommended capital projects for FY '27. You all have seen the report. It was emailed to us. Excuse me. I'm going to, if it's okay with the committee, skip the preamble and go right to the recommendations, unless somebody would like me to read the rest.
No, thank you.
Very good. I was hoping I wouldn't have to, since for some reason I've developed a cough. So number one on theirs, and it's not necessarily ranked by preference. It's just number one just happens to be the first one on there. So I want to make that clear. It does say that above. So the first one says the Wachusett Regional School District is the sponsor, and it's an amount not to exceed $18,000. This goes back to the boiler project. And it says for, we good?
Yep, all set.
All right. It's for the town to share in the expense of a Paxton Center School boiler replacement cost overrun, which original cost to replace was projected to be $67,000, and which said amount was approved at annual town meeting on June 16th, 2025. But the boiler replacement has since been delayed as the cost to replace it was misquoted at $67,000 and is now estimated to be at a cost of approximately $112,000. The second bullet point says cost sharing proposed for the cost overrun is the Wachusett Regional School District at $35,000 and the town of Paxton for the balance not to exceed $18,000. So it sounds like Capital is suggesting that we leave some wiggle room in there. That's $6,000 or so. And then funding for the initial $67,000 was approved at the ATM, which it already says, and was from the use of capital depreciation funds. And then the funding source recommendation is the capital depreciation fund, which I believe is where they had taken out the initial $67,000.
Correct.
Thoughts on number one? Julia, I know you have thoughts because I watched it on Sunday.
So the idea behind this from the Capital Committee is that they are displeased with how this was handled by the school district, where there was a quote based on the information that's available. There was a quote that was in excess of the $67,000 that was available at the time the $67,000 was requested. We don't yet have information from the school district to clarify what exactly happened. The school will be coming in on March 23rd, so I expect we'll get that information then. However, the timing is such that we are working on the warrant now, and so we have to kind of make a decision as to which way to go. And so the recommendation of the capital committee was to push it back on the school. They selected the amount of $35,000 based on the regional agreement, which states that capital items are the responsibility of the town in excess of $35,000, and that they would be responsible under $35,000. And where the differential is, they are hoping that the school will kick in the $35,000, and then we would then take care of a difference on top of that to meet the overall cost of the project. My suspicion is that the school will not agree to that, because once they do that for one town, it sets an example for the other 4 towns, and I would be surprised if they decided to go that route. That said, my thoughts on Thursday when we met were that it doesn't hurt to try. You can certainly ask for it. And then we'll see where it comes. And again, not sure how we ended up in this position to begin with. We don't have full disclosure, full information from the school yet about what occurred. So I'll be interested to see what the response is to that. It would be wonderful if it did work out that way. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to put a lot of eggs in that basket.
So initially, if you watched well, you were there, if you've since seen the capital committee meeting from last Thursday, initially they wanted to push it all back on Wachusett, which I got to be honest with you, that's the camp I'm in. Because the request was made, even though they had a higher bid, and again, we don't know why. Only one of 2 things could have happened. It's either nefarious, which I do not believe, I want to make that clear,
Yep.
or incompetence, a mistake. But either way, on several points along the way, $67,000 kept coming up, including annual town meeting floor. And it was never corrected. This is the one time in which I would say, no, you know what, we did what we were asked to do. The school should make up the entire difference, in my opinion. Now, granted, 53 grand is a lot of money, or 56 grand, but, and I understand, I don't remember if it was you or Mr. Wenzel who brought it up, both made great points, that they're gonna look at it and say, well, that's not fair to the other towns. Well, but they haven't made a mistake like this in the other towns. And so what I thought that the capital Improvement Planning Committee did was come up with a reasonable compromise, which, again, not the way I would have gone, but I can certainly understand it, and I can certainly get behind it. If I'm the schools, now I understand you guys weren't there at our meeting last week or the week before when they presented their initial budget run. And there was pushback from a number of the towns. And since then, I believe there's another town that's joined the pushback train. I would be a little bit nervous about numbers. And I'll be honest with you, this kind of rattles my confidence in their numbers. So to me, this would be a minor fix by them to ease the lack of confidence that I have developed, at least, in their numbers. It was their mistake. It wasn't ours. And our capital depreciation fund is way underfunded. And if there's one thing that I think we can all agree on, that we should have more. We don't. It's reality. So I think it's a reasonable compromise that we're going to take another $18,000 out of theirs, and out of ours, and we're asking them to take $35,000 out of theirs. Now, is Mr. Wenzel joined us?
Yes, he is on.
So, Jeff, if you can hear me, if I misquote you in any way, please jump in and say, hey, knock it off, bonehead, you don't know what you're talking about. But, oh yeah, he's here, I heard the laugh. But Jeff brought up a valid point, that ultimately, should something go wrong, and it flood the school, it is going to be our responsibility. And I agree with that. And I agree with what you said. I 100%, except for the fact that it was their mistake. So I would like to be a little bit more than just an ask. especially since we're looking at the other items on here and we're going, I don't know how we're going to pay for them. So I would like to, next or 2 weeks from now, put a little bit of a push behind it, like, this is the direction, assuming that the board chooses to go in this direction, we're going to support the capital improvement planning committee with this and make it a bigger push. Like, you guys are the ones that made the mistake. We're coughing up another 18 on top of the 67. I think 35 is more than reasonable.
Also, too, like, no one's approached us on why it happened, right? Like, the school committee has, or whoever's doing this has not directly told us how this could have happened, but I'd like to know why, too. So, A, we can try to fix this, and B, not have it happen again.
Carol?
I think this is a fair compromise. I mean, I met with the school, I think during the summer, and I was aware that this wasn't enough money. But at that time, there was no thoughts of how it was going to be remediated. But I was aware that after we'd gone to town meeting, that there just wasn't enough. So I knew about that. But I think this is a fair compromise. I really do.
And then Mr. Love's point is a valid one. There's been no request and no paperwork submitted by the school for that amount. We're going off of the fact that we understand that there was a mistake, and we're doing our best to try to rectify it. We're almost, I know it sounds kind of silly, but it sounds like we're almost going after them saying, hey, we know we got to give you more money here. You didn't put in the request, but we know it's necessary, so we're going to act on it. So that's what I'd like to see. I think, Chris, your point is valid. Julia, I listened to you that night. You were spot on. I mean, it is ultimately,
It falls in our hands.
under normal circumstances, that would be ours.
Right. My only fear, and I have no problem going back to the school and making this request, right? Because I agree, it does not look like it was an appropriate handling of the situation. My only fear is what's the fallback if they don't agree, right? So where does that leave us if we don't have another town meeting in time in order to get money approved for this kind of a repair to be done over the summer? So we'll be stuck in a holding pattern for another year, and hoping that boiler holds out.
Now, adding to your point, arguing against myself, it's called. I feel like Jeff Dunham at this point. That's only going to add to the expense next year
Agreed.
as well. It's not going to get cheaper to replace.
Right.
But I still would like to pursue this avenue if the board so supports.
Yeah. It's worth a shot.
Yep.
All right. Let's move on to number 2 from their report. Fire/EMS Department is the sponsor. $36,500 is the request, and that's to acquire a new Paxton Fire Department command car to replace an existing older model command car with high mileage and high annual repairs and maintenance costs. Fire/EMC and CIPC recommended funding source would be special revenue funds, the ambulance receipts fund. Any questions or comments on that one?
Nope.
No.
Pretty straightforward. Number 3, and this ought to be interesting. Department of Public Works is the sponsor. The amount that CIPC is recommending is $350,000. And it's to replace various existing DPW heavy-duty vehicles, principally an F-350 truck, a roadside mower, and a catch basin truck, which are each in various stages of disrepair, incur costly repairs, are occasionally inoperable, and mostly perform at less than optimal operational efficiency when operable. Consensus recommendation of the CIPC committee is for the town to enter the municipal/commercial used vehicle market to acquire replacement vehicles for each of those specifically aforementioned vehicles. We got to check the spelling on that second vehicles there. at well below new vehicle MSRP, market prices, and in a much-needed expedited delivery timeline. CIPC recommended funding sources, debt exclusion. So I asked Robert to do some digging on this, because I don't know, I'll be honest with you, I don't know how to buy a used vehicle using debt exclusion, only because the article would have to be for a specific vehicle.
Agreed.
So let's assume we find, because there were two examples given that night. One of them was sold a year ago, but it was an example. The second one was an example, a great example, that is currently on auction. Was that Marketplace?
No.
No, so it's currently in auction. The reserve hasn't been met. Of course, nobody knows exactly what the reserve is. Assuming that you find the right vehicle, you'd have to tie it up for a couple of months while we go through the process. I don't know anybody who's selling a vehicle is going to say, no, that's all right, we'll tie it up, and then hope that it goes through, and tell other buyers, sorry, I've got someone who's already interested in it. So Robert's done some digging, so what have you found so far?
So that's exactly what I found out, is that when you're buying used equipment, it's very difficult to have that person sit on that for a potential sale a couple months down the road. So I know that they were saying that it was abundantly available, but there aren't a lot of vehicles out there that would fit our needs right now.
Yeah, I believe the comment was it's a robust market.
Okay. So I talked with a neighboring town, and they buy a decent amount of used equipment, but they have a pretty good partnership with Vermont town that they basically get their equipment that's going to, be not useful for them anymore, and then it goes to our neighboring town.
So it's an established relationship.
Correct.
So I'm not sure how this would work.
Well,
Now,
It's a little bit like threading a needle. Yeah.
Chris and I are new to the board this year, but Carol and Julie, you've been around for a while. I'll let you guys explain to us how we're going to be able to pull this off.
So Carol, correct me if I'm wrong, right? My understanding is that you would have to find the vehicle. You would have to secure financing for the vehicle, because you can't do a debt exclusion without the debt. In order to secure financing for a used vehicle, you have to certify that that vehicle is going to have a useful life above and beyond the period of time during which it's going to be financed. That's a project usually undertaken by the treasurer collector. And then you would take it to town meeting. It would have to pass at town meeting, and then it would then have to pass at the ballot as a debt exclusion. So there's kind of a lot of hurdles here in order to try to get something like this through.
So I've always been against this type of thing, but I think it could be done because I think what Capital want is to provide 350,000 and then let Travis go shopping.
Correct.
So
Or whomever.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
So I think my question would be, the main thing is the ballot question. So I would make sure that the ballot question would be acceptable, and it would include exactly the same wording as the article. But I'd also talk to our treasurer collector. I know we haven't got a full-time one, but go out to the people we do borrowing with and say, is this something we could get borrowing for? Mm-hmm. Because that's going to be the crux of it.
Agreed.
So
that's
the
gonna
groundwork has been laid for us to talk with that neighboring town's treasurer collector to see how they operate. They were nice enough to send me some of the bids for loans that they've received,
Yeah.
so I could see what the interest rates are, stuff like that. So, and just see who's good to work with. So we
But
are definitely laying
yeah.
that foundation.
But that's the job of the treasurer's department.
Correct.
But we usually go through our bond.
Yeah.
So I would definitely take those two questions up, and if the ballot question could be replicated and acceptable, then I don't see a problem.
So you're saying that allotting the 350,000 could be done
I don't know.
without a specific vehicle?
Because that's what they're expecting to do. They're not expecting to,
Right.
for somebody to say, no.
Yeah, that is what they're expecting.
Yeah.
But
But you were saying that it has to be that.
I
vehicle.
thought it has to be a
That's what I've
specific
always
vehicle.
thought, but, things
Yeah.
change.
Right.
And, municipalities aren't as, I think that we're all going to the second-hand market now. So I think I'd ask the questions. If the ballot question could be worded so it's acceptable to DOR, DLS, whatever, then we're fine.
For the 350,
Yeah.
for the full amount,
Yeah.
for 3 vehicles.
And, we're saying what vehicles we're getting, we haven't got them. We haven't got them.
Yeah, we don't have a
Yeah,
VIN
we haven't got,
for
we haven't
them.
got, yeah. But we're saying what we're looking for.
And then we could have that temporary increase to the tax levy.
Well, you would.
Yeah, as a debt
Well,
as the
if it
debt
gets-
exclusion.
if it has to go past town meeting and an election first, and then that's automatically done when we do the recap. So that's not a problem. It's just getting past those first two hurdles, really.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure we can get the borrowing done for 350 in
With-
such a,
without the secure vehicle ahead of time.
Yes.
And that's the part that,
That's-
when I heard you say that,
I don't think it's a certain what. It's very flimsy. I mean, we might not be able to get all 3 vehicles. Or 3 parts to it for that money.
I guess we would have to, so in order to get a debt exclusion, in order, to have it on the warrant and have it at the ballot, you have to have the debt. And so you have to have, whoever is going to offer the financing on board already.
Well, you just have to make sure that our bond council and our borrowing person, I don't know what it is now, I know I used to deal with, but that's several years ago,
Yeah.
are on board with this type of thing, that's all.
Right.
Okay.
If they are happy that they could do a borrowing for that amount, because they're the ones that go out to the banks and everything, not us.
so,
Yeah.
But we're not being specific, that's the...
well, that's the other part that concerns me now. So we're saying 3 vehicles, 350,000. What if in the used market, we can only afford 2 vehicles?
That's what the question...
Does that throw, I mean, as a voter, would I
Right.
not be happy? Because that means that eventually you're going to have to come back for that 3rd vehicle, and you told me you were going to get 3 for that.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have fulfilled the ballot question.
Correct.
So that's why those are the questions that need to be asked.
Yeah, I agree. We need to ask those questions. My gut says that our better bet is going to be to handle them 3 separately, but
But we don't know how
We'll
much
see
each
what-
one's going to be.
Exactly.
And that's why lumping it together might be a better option.
unless
If
you
it's-
identified them ahead of time.
Right.
But I don't know how you get financing if you haven't identified the vehicle, right?
Right.
Because they have to know that the vehicle they're financing is worth what they're
If
financing.
you can only
for.
find one and you can't find the other 2, you can't identify the other 2 because you don't have them.
And that's why I
And
think the
then
question
you
has to be
can't
asked
buy
at the
that
time.
one.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Like I say, if you, exactly what you just said, it's the debt exclusion question that matches the article, that's the first thing. And as long as that's acceptable, and then with our borrowing, it would be acceptable to, just on this information alone. Because it
To
is,
have that go forward.
Yeah.
And then ask what happens if we can only get 2 out of the 3.
I don't think we'd be, in my mind, we wouldn't be fulfilling the ballot question.
Oh,
Right.
that's my point. That's why I'm
Yeah.
saying, I'm trying to figure out a workaround.
Could you separate them if we could do what we want to do? Could you have 3 separate ones and allot that money for each one?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, if you said an F-350
Yeah.
for $60,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And then
If
you
you
had
know
200.
those items, what you're looking for each one, yeah.
But
I
what
think the
would-
biggest hurdle is if we have to identify or not.
Yeah.
If we
Okay.
can't, if we have to do that, then
I mean, you have ballot questions what say for F-350 truck, blah, 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 but like I said, this is, borrowing for a used market is sometimes a little bit more tricky.
Is it
Yeah.
possible?
And it might be it'll be a lot lesser time frame for the debt. And that's another thing, for
Right.
an amount like this, we need to know that
Well, that's
information.
true too, because it's
Because
probably
the
going to
truck-
be 7 instead of,
Well,
Yeah, you're
I
not
think
gonna
the trucks
get-
only usually 7,
yeah,
so I think you would be talking less than that.
For the F-350?
Yeah.
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 I think a truck's usually only about 7 years for debt.
So is it, and I don't know the answer to this, so Carol, I'm hoping that you do. Is it possible to run a question authorizing the Board of Selectmen to purchase vehicles up to that amount? I don't know the wording, so excuse the wording, but I hope you get the gist of what I'm saying. In other words, instead of saying it's going directly to that, we're authorizing the selectmen, if they find the proper vehicles, to expend this amount of money. Kind of like what we do with Chapter 90.
Yeah.
Is it possible to do a question like that?
I think that the questions are generally quite specific, and there's examples of questions in the debt exclusion override.
Well, when we're incurring debt, I tend to doubt it. I'm just throwing it out there.
I think we can get the information. I honestly do. I think we can really get the information ahead of time if we work on it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
The question is if we're looking at the warrant tonight, should we put 3 placeholders in or just 1 for
We can
tonight?
always open it up again.
Yeah, that's true.
We still got
Let's go with the 1 for now. Well, and then, of course, we'll put in the other 2 as well, assuming that's what the board's desire is.
How much, can I just ask, how much was the request? Was it for 350 or was it for more?
It was for a lot more,
Yeah, that's,
because it was for
Looking at new.
new equipment.
Which, I got to say right now, and we're going to get into more of this when we get into correspondence, I feel awful that we're talking used equipment. I
Yeah.
want to make that clear.
yes.
Yep.
What our DPW department does with what they have is nothing short of miraculous. Those folks down there are awesome. They're amazing.
With all the Band-Aids.
And that's exactly what it is. And realistically, as a town, we are not providing them with what
Safe-
they need.
with safe
We
vehicles.
really aren't. And it starts with the building.
Agreed.
You know, it's time, we're gonna have to do something with that. And maybe the town says no, and then I don't know what we do, we figure it out after that. But at some point, that's going to get shut down. And the equipment that we're getting them, and we're doing the best we can, so I'm not blaming anybody, but holy mackerel, they're doing an amazing job. Travis and his whole team are just,
It's
they're
probably
awesome.
one of the worst winters too, so.
Well,
they're-
I'll
they're
tell you,
bad.
I give them a world of credit. I really do. So I hate the fact that we're having this discussion like this. It wasn't that many years ago in which we would only look at new equipment.
Right.
And now we're not even considering new equipment.
Well, I think that goes back to our conversation is we need a better planning.
Yeah.
We do.
Agreed.
Need a 5 to 10 year
100%.
plan.
No
This
question
will
about it.
keep happening.
Yep.
Yep.
You are 100%
Well,
correct, sir.
we haven't bought anything for the DPW for quite a while, and that's why we've just been pushing it off, so it's just going to get worse and worse, unfortunately.
Yep.
So,
I'm glad we're at least having a conversation about buying the equipment as opposed to not buying the equipment.
because we've got to get them what they need. There's no question about it. All right, so, and then the last part of the report states that the police department, there was no equipment, vehicle, or police cruiser capital needs requests submitted to the CIPC. So that wraps up, respectfully submitted, the Capital Improvement Planning Committee.
Before we move on for that, if we could, just take another step and look at what was requested and again ask what would be the timeline that we could borrow for the more expensive equipment as opposed to these, because like I say, with the used market, it's going to be a very narrow
Correct.
timeline, and that's going to be a big burden to the town all at once.
Yep.
So just ask those questions.
Absolutely.
If you need me to clarify more, Robert, I will do.
And then, it's funny, because I was talking with Jeff this afternoon about his comments at the meeting, and one of the things I did say to him is, if you're going to look at cost per year, I believe the chair on the committee the other night said that, if we get 5 to 7 years, out of a used piece of equipment, that's pretty good, as opposed to 30 out of new. But if you
Break that
take that
down.
number and divide it by the number
Yeah.
of years,
Yeah.
it's costing the town a lot more. And then in 5 to 7 years, we're going to be replacing it again. Now,
Plus maintenance costs.
now, that said, the two examples that they brought up are probably examples that are going to last almost as long as new. I mean, the catch basin truck, I don't remember, was very low hours.
Correct.
and-
And the other one seemed like a dealer demo. It had
Exactly.
less than 10 hours on it.
Yeah, there was so many, they were practically brand new. So if you can get a steel like that, that's great. But it does concern me when we buy something that's 20 years old, as we did last summer, and thinking, well, if we get 5 to 7 years out, that's great, but now you got to go replace it again, and how much did that actually cost you per year?
Right.
And the cost is going to be higher.
And you're taking on all the burdens what's being put on that piece of equipment without any warranties.
Correct.
Right.
So you make a good point that a lot of people get the sticker shock of, okay, a new catch basin truck is 513 grand, and we can get a used one for maybe 150. But if you stretch that out over that longer timeline, have a warranty and have those reassurances instead of kind of inheriting someone else's problems, then sometimes that comes out better in the long run.
I mean, there is a reason why, I mean, not necessarily the dealer demo, but for the most part on the used market, there is a reason why people are getting rid of it. You know, we don't,
Certainly the question that should be asked.
Yes.
so anyway, thank you for that. So, may I have a motion then to, let's start with number one. Should we accept number one as it has been recommended to us?
I'll move that we accept number one as it has been recommended
And make it a warrant article?
and make it a warrant article.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on number one? All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. How about number two, which is the acquisition of the Paxton Fire Department command car, with the proceeds coming out of the ambulance receipts fund?
I'll make a motion that we accept this. as
Second.
is.
Oh, sorry.
And make it a warrant article?
Yes.
Second.
Any further discussion on number two? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, sorry.
Chair votes aye.
Abstain.
You're abstaining.
I don't need to, but
No,
I'm
you
going
don't.
to anyways.
No, you don't. I'm trying to think how you benefit from having a command
I
car in the
don't.
fire department.
It's the appearance. I don't want people to,
Okay, no, that's fine, that's fine. I understand, but I'm just saying, I want to make sure it's clear that you don't have to abstain.
I have
from
no
that particular-
conflict. But if I had voted, I would have needed to say why.
No, that's fine.
It's okay.
It's fine. It's past 3-0 with one abstention, that's fine.
Yeah.
How about number three?
I'll make a motion to approve this one article with, once all the questions have been answered.
Yeah.
Yes.
Accept it for now, but under the circumstances that we're going to ask several more questions first.
And we're going to use it, so we'll put a placeholder on
Yeah.
the warrant for this.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion on number three? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. And we thank the Capital Improvements
work.
Planning Committee for their work and their well-detailed report. Anything else with the Capital Improvement Committee that anybody with Capital Improvement Planning Committee? I want to make sure I get that name correct.
I do not.
Nope.
Okay, then we shall move on. We're on to new business. Number one is resident request for radar speed sign at the intersection of South Street and West Street.
Yeah. Do you want me to?
Yeah, come on up. I want to make sure everybody can hear you on the podium, you know. You brought that voice all the way this far, we might as well get it right out there.
Yeah. So, Erin Otmar, 232 West Street. I'm also speaking on behalf of Lynn Clifford, who lives at 259 West Street, across the street from us.
Well, welcome and thanks for coming in.
Thanks. So, as many people know, there have been many accidents this winter right outside my house. My daughter and I have called 911 reporting accidents probably 3 or 4 times this winter. Cars are running, they're not stopping at South Street, they're coming up, and cars fly from South Street, from West Street from Spencer into town. Less of an issue going from the center of town over because the radar sign has been put up there, but someone's gonna get killed. For people who don't know, there was this massive Pepsi truck that somehow ended up in front of our house on the yard on the other side of the road with a truck that was coming from South Street on the other side in our neighbor's yard facing the opposite direction. Again, my daughter came running in when I was working, and first of all, thank you to police and fire. They were there within literally like a minute. I don't know how they get there so quickly. But someone's gonna get killed. I have 4 children. My neighbor has 2 children. There's kids across the street. Her kids, she's been terrified their entire life. They've had incidents in the past. It's a horrible combination of South Street. There's a curb coming from the center of town. When there's snow, you can't see around the bank. The lines on South Street, there's no like line in the road, so cars don't know where to stop. So we're just requesting together to do something. I don't know if a radar sign coming from West Street into the center of town to slow people down from Spencer would help, but that's not going to help if people from South Street don't know that they need to stop and slow down either. I'm less concerned going that way, right into Spencer, as it is coming into Paxton. But every time there's an accident, they're about 2 feet from that big pole. It's been hit before, it's been split before. My husband had to dig out another truck the other day with, shovel and snowblower because they got stuck in a curb. This winter's been nuts. I don't know what we can do besides something has to be put up somewhere to slow down the traffic, and get people on South Street to not keep running that light. Mm-hmm. There was a bus incident earlier this year right in front of my house. I feel like it's the perfect storm of 3 roads or 3 places coming together. Moore State Park, people walk. And again, someone's gonna die. They're gonna get hit by a car because we've lived here almost 11 years and I've never seen people drive as recklessly as they're driving lately, right in front of our house. So I just wanted to come here and see, and Lynn as well. If anything could be done, radar signs work really well to slow people down. But we don't know what people can do, but something has to be done. Or else, I don't know how anyone hasn't gotten severely hurt from the last 4 weeks with all the snow that we've had. So anyway, thank you. That's all.
So I did make a call to Chief Sebasta.
I was thinking of that.
I am not, I don't want to get us into the habit of micromanaging the departments. That's his department. But I made sure that he was aware, and he is. He spoke to Ms. Clifford, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
And he said that I guess in the winter, those radar signs don't work so great, of course, because they're solar powered.
Right.
And he's only got 1 or 2 of them that are working at all. And there is a bracket for one still in place a little bit further down between the closed entrance to Moore State Park and then that road down Black Hill Road or whatever that is down the end of the road there.
Yeah.
Manigan. So that is still there. And once we get a little bit more sunlight, he said we can certainly look into putting something up there. He says he has been running people down in that area. Maybe not sitting there all the time, but he says he is aware of that. He's been aware of it for quite some time. The other question that I have then, because beyond that, it's up to Mark to deploy his resources, but he is aware of it, and I made sure of that. I wonder if there is signage that could go in anywhere along there. And what I'm thinking about is that sign on Maple Street just before you get to Grove. Remember, didn't we add a second sign before that?
Yes.
I wonder if that is something that might help. I don't know. Because.
Stop ahead sign.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's hard too, because when you come to the end, I happen to travel South Street every single day, which today was brutal because it was glare ice. I just almost slid right past it. But coming home, when you come to the end of South Street, you have to inch out right now because of the snowbanks.
Yeah.
Right.
But I wonder if making people extra aware ahead of time that there's a stop sign coming up, I don't know if
Yeah.
that would help. I don't know. That's something that, again, Travis and Mark could probably
Yeah,
get
go through
together
that,
and see if they couldn't come up with something. I don't want to get into the micromanaging of
Right.
departments. That would be a mistake on our part. But that would be my recommendation. Your liaison to the police, right?
Yep.
Who's liaison to the DPW?
Carol.
Me.
Maybe we could reach out to those two and just say, hey, guys, we need you to get together.
Yeah.
And put your heads together and see if you can come up with something.
Yeah.
And because certainly don't want anything more serious than it's already occurred to happen.
Yeah, and I do think it's better leaving it open for them to determine what the best course of action is, because I think sometimes you come out and you say, well, I think we should do this.
Right.
And they've got a better idea that, they might have some.
Or a reason why what I may think
Right.
can't happen.
Yep.
Well, it's obvious that something needs put in there, Aaron, so, but I would say, let Robert meet
Yeah.
with.
Yeah,
That's even
I think
better.
It's a lot easier if
Sorry,
Robert
Robert, I should have said that right from the beginning.
I think if Robert
See, you're so quiet over there. I just,
both of them, then you'd have a better handle on things.
Yes.
if we could coordinate that
Absolutely.
and see what we
You
can.
could, you could pass on too. We have the space in front of the barn. We have like part of a driveway that they can pull off. Like we are totally happy with someone parking there every once in a while to make people slow down. And they're like, oh, we are totally fine as long, like we have enough space for them to pull in. We have a 1-year-old through a 13-year-old. They're always outside, and people walk their dogs constantly.
There's a lot of walkers on there.
Constantly,
Yes.
and I don't let my kids go near it. We actually, when we walk to the park, we go through our neighbor's yard because I don't want them on the road because they're gonna get hit. So,
No,
yeah,
sure.
I appreciate it.
All
I
right.
know you keep saying that it's during the winter time with all
It's
this
not just
snow,
during the
but
winter.
It's
year
a
round.
year-round
It's
issue.
year round. Yeah, we never have had a problem before. It's the traffic. It's the traffic going through. I don't think. Yeah, it's the traffic going through. In the winter is where cars like what you were describing coming up South Street. People go fast all year round, but it's the snowbanks are so high and it's so icy there right now. People can't stop.
Yeah.
So they're not. I mean, they just aren't stopping.
Well, it's you have to inch out on that one. That's a tough spot in the winter. It really.
And I think that's why the last 2 weeks we've been having things
Yeah.
left and right outside our house.
Hopefully, after tomorrow, that'll ease up quite a bit.
Yeah.
It already is almost.
Thank goodness for nicer weather. Yeah.
But I wonder too. Now you got people coming the direction in which you're speaking, Aaron. People are coming from Spencer, and of course, that's a brand new repave.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
All the way.
Always
Yep.
makes it more
And
speed.
people are going to drive faster.
They're flying.
Yeah.
Like easy.
They can.
Easy. People are going 60 on that road right
Yeah.
now.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, they're flying. They're absolutely flying. We've never seen this.
All right, so we'll have Robert coordinate with DPW and our police and see if
Perfect.
the three of them can come up with something for you.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming
Bring it
in.
to our attention.
Thank you.
Next up, accept the federal grant policy and procedures required for the annual audit. We were sent it. I'm sure everybody read it.
I did actually.
Are there any, well, let's have a motion first and then we can have a discussion.
I move that we accept the policies and procedures for our financial audit.
Excellent.
I'll second.
Any discussion? It's a quiet but thoughtful group.
Yes.
It is what it is.
All right, we have a motion to accept the federal grant policy and procedures manual. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We're good. Okay, we got to set the location for the annual town meeting to be held Monday, May 4th, 2026. I believe we have secured Anna Maria College, is that correct?
Correct.
So we just need a motion to hold it at Anna Maria College.
I move that we hold our annual town meeting at Zecco Hall, 50 Sunset Lane, Anna Maria College.
You even know the address.
I hear it on the scanner
always
too often.
Very easy. I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right. We have to review the warrant article for the annual town meeting, and I apologize, I got to open that up. I saved it here. I should have had that open.
Was that a separate? Oh, was that a separate one? Don't listen to that.
Would you like me to put it up on the board?
Yeah, that would help, because for some reason, I'm not, I don't know why I don't have that open. There it is. There it is. All right. So Article 1 will be the Chapter 90 authorization. I don't need to read each one of these. We're not actually placing them in.
No.
So it's just a Chapter 90 authorization, which we do each and every year.
Yep.
What that does is authorize the Select Board to enter into contracts for construction, reconstruction improvements, and that money is to be expended at the direction of the Director of Public Works. Article 2 right now is to adopt a snow removal policy and bylaw. It's on file at the clerk's office. I encourage you, if you'd like to see it, to go to the town's website, which on the homepage. And that's for the purpose of regulating the placement and disposal of snow and ice. Unfortunately, the great job Travis did going over everything was at the meeting that didn't go out,
Yeah.
where he said that that's become an issue.
Yeah.
So, Peter, I'm sorry.
So Donna,
Article 2 and Article 3 with the snow removal and the water system regulation are two new policies and bylaws that Travis is working on putting through. They're in the hands of town council right now, being reviewed.
yep.
So they aren't up yet on the website because we.
No, I'm sorry, I thought okay. It does say it in here, but fair enough. So Article 3 won't be up there yet either.
Correct.
Okay, and that's to adopt the water system regulation, and that's also being reviewed apparently. Protection and management of the municipal water system. Article 4 will be the repurpose article search firm, and this is to see if the town will vote to repurpose the remaining funds of the $15,000. That's for the lights?
Right.
Something we've been
No,
talking
no.
about.
No, this was.
That was for the search firm.
This is the search committee.
Oh, that's right, too. I'm sorry, that's right, because we didn't need the search committee.
Right.
We had a diamond in the rough in our midst.
Yep.
Sorry. Number 5 is the revolving funds, which are, this is an article that's on here every year, Council on Aging, Recreation, Paxton Days, Rentals and Leases, Planning Board, Library, and Conservation. Article 6 right now is the Water Enterprise, the Water Department receipts. Boy, it's been a rough year for the Water Department.
I know.
Obviously, numbers to be filled in later. The Water Enterprise, the water tank maintenance is also a sum to be put in later, but that's in there every year. The MS4 department receipts, another rough year. But this is all numbers to be placed in later. Article 9 is to appropriate funds to road improvement, and this is going back to the Proposition 2.5 override of, how long ago was that?
It's like 2013 or 14. It
Quite a
was
while.
right after I got on the board.
Okay. So we raise and appropriate the funds, and then we use the funds. And this all goes back to 2.5 override that we said would be for road improvement, and this is how we make sure that it goes for the road improvement and does not just go into the general fund, which typically 2.5 overrides can do after the first year.
Right.
So Article 10 then is using those funds. Article 11 will be to create a special revaluation stabilization fund. This is put forth by the Board of Assessors, which I think is a great idea with the 5-year cycle. Article 12 is to fund the revaluation stabilization fund. I like Article 11 better, just creating it. But Article 12 is to put $7,000 in there to get it going. Article 13 is the townwide property revaluation. This is to transfer or to raise and appropriate $12,400 by the board, to be expended by the Board of Assessors to fund the second half of total cost of our townwide FY27 townwide revaluation. Article 14 is the fire department command vehicle, which we just talked about. Article 15 is the PCS boiler. Again, we just talked about that. That highlighted amount, obviously, we'll see how it goes when we have the discussion in 2 weeks. Article 16 is the the DPW vehicle and equipment, and that's right now a placeholder. So I think right now that article is written about as well as you could possibly write it, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of. That's it. Article 17 is the Wachusett Greenways, which was mentioned to us a couple of meetings ago. The request now is for 500, down from, it used to be 1,000, right?
Yeah. I think it got up to 1100.
Article 18 will be the Bay Path budget. Bay Path and Wachusett will be in on the 23rd to present their budgets. This is still minimum local contribution.
Correct.
It's amazing how much minimum local contribution went up for Bay Path. That was quite a hike.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Again, it's totally out of their control, and I get that, but that was quite a hike. And then Article 19 will be the Wachusett School District budget, which we will again be discussing on the 23rd when they come in. And then we'll wrap it up with Article 20, which will be the town budget, way down from the past. All right, and that's where we're at. Questions, discussion? So,
Could we, catch basin cleaner that we need,
yep.
could we not include that in the stormwater? No?
I mean, that is its purpose.
Just a thought. Might put place something in there for it, I think. 'Cause it's part of stormwater that we have to clean the catch basins.
Correct, because they all had to be mapped out. Mike
Right.
did that when that first went through.
Yep. Yep.
Just a thought.
I don't know what's been generated in that stormwater account so far. From
I don't know what's
the
been
receipts.
expended. I don't know if anything else has been
Yeah.
expended. But
It's definitely
we're creating a budget this year. Sorry, not this year, for next year.
Right.
Just take some.
And how much are we figuring each year?
It was over, just over 100,000, wasn't it?
That's my recollection.
128?
About, yeah, just a little over 100,000,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm not sure how much a catch basin is, especially a used one, but more easily.
Brand new, you had that number, right?
Yeah, it was like 513.
So 513,000 for
533 is what they were talking about.
And how much
533.
was the second one, second-hand one?
The which one?
A used one, what was the, have they seen any?
That was more in like the one they used was the one from like a year ago, and that was in like the $75,000 range.
Yeah.
That's something at least worth looking into.
Well,
Absolutely.
it'd be there, the money would be there.
Well, that's what I'm saying, if it can be used for that.
Yeah.
I don't see why wouldn't it, because the catch basin is part of that.
It is absolutely part of stormwater.
Have a word with Travis, Robert. You'd have a better idea.
Yep. Yeah, I'd check in with Travis because I know he did set up a budget that he had planned for those funds, but
There's nothing in there
that would
for
be
capital.
exactly, and that would be one way to be able to get one of those pieces of equipment without having to go through this whole locate finance process. Not a bad idea.
Which just affirms the fact that that nomination made last week should have been accepted. Just throwing that out there. All right, we've reviewed the warrant articles. May I have a motion to close the warrant for the annual town meeting to be held Monday, May 4th, 2026.
I move that we close the annual town warrant for the meeting on Monday, May 4th, 2026.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Old business. Any old business? Okay. I do have select board correspondence tonight that I wish to read. The first one is thanks to the town's DPW department, and it says, "Hi, no need to call back." This is a voice message that's just been transcribed. Just wanted to call and express my appreciation for what you guys are doing out there. Your plow guys are pushing back snow even further on the road, and they came up around the area in which this person lives. And not only did they lift the plow as they were going by mailboxes and driveways, but they also managed to see a path that I had cut from my oil guy and still lifted the plow. It's not an easy job out there, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. And just a big thank you to your team for what they've done during the storms, also for the extra work they're doing. Have a good day. Thanks.
Can I capitalize on that a little bit? So we had just I think probably around the same time as this person was talking, we had finished clearing the snow in my driveway and the plow came by. And I fully expected that I was gonna have to go up and we'd have to clean the edge of the driveway, the top of the driveway again, right? Because that's just life, right? And I witnessed the same thing. They picked the plow blade up and set it back down on the other side of the driveway and I was like,
Thank you.
yeah, really appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm glad somebody brought it up and called attention to it because I wouldn't have thought of it to say something, but I did sit there and say, wow, that's great. Thank you.
Now, I don't have a date on this, and they didn't mention the blizzard. Was that after the blizzard?
It was.
So you think about how many times those
Yeah.
guys have been out all winter,
Yeah.
plus having to do it as often as they did during that storm, and still doing that.
Yeah.
And even when it's not snowing, and they're doing the salt and the sand, like, they are going 24/7.
Yeah. But to go that extra
Oh, yeah, the
step,
extra step.
after all those hours that they've been out there this winter, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are awesome. They're truly amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're very, very lucky to have such a dedicated crew, and that's what this second
And it's a
message says as well.
Small crew at that.
It says, Travis, just wanted to take a minute to say thank you, in quotes, to you and the hardworking men you have who continue to do an outstanding job in keeping the roads open. Not just men, by the way, that whole team. And clear during the storm on Sunday night and every other time, whether it's salting or plowing, it's appreciated. Great correspondence to read. Town Administrator's update. Mr. Town Administrator.
So I love that DPW is getting the recognition that they deserve. Wish we could do a lot more for them. I am glad that they finally got some help with the snow today with the temperature increasing, so someone else, helped them out. Our DPW has been hard at work with the most snow and ice we've seen in a while. We're well past our snow and ice budget already, So we'll be looking at deficit spending there, unfortunately, with all the salt that they are going through. But just a huge thank you to our incredible staff for making our roads safe for all the travel. So I am very happy about all the comments that I'm hearing tonight and seeing the remarks from the public come in too. So that makes me very happy that our crew is getting that recognition. So another thing that happened in town that was a good thing was our town caucus. So we had a lot of great nominations there, some repeats, some new faces there. We still have some open positions, so there's still time to pull papers to, get nominated for those open roles.
Yeah, because we had a nomination that was made that for some reason wasn't accepted. That person should reconsider as well. So I throw that.
I did have that in there as well.
Good.
But there is still 2 spots that will be available here. Budget update. So FinCom consistently meets on Wednesdays to approve department budgets and decide how to overcome our current deficit. We are working hard to overcome that and make sure that we're working in the best interest of everyone in town. So that's very encouraging to see, especially being my first time going to our budget meetings. And as a taxpayer myself, I am very happy with the process so far. 10 West, I'm very happy with what Bay Path is doing down there. So they're exceeding expectations. Their carpentry division is the first person that came out, and they are doing a remarkable job. If you don't mind, I would love to share some pictures of what 10 West looks like right now,
I think that's great.
which would be very different than the last time any of you probably saw it. So they have really gone through the entire building, and they removed everything that was in poor shape, and they're getting it ready for them to make some improvements. So the downstairs, they really made terrific progress down there, and is basically giving us a clean slate. And all this comes at no cost. So all of this happened with just us getting that dumpster and a porta potty there.
That's awesome.
And we got all of this work done just by providing those 2 things, which is just incredible. So
Such a great part.
this was all damaged walls, damaged equipment, and now it is completely taken care of. So they're just doing an absolutely remarkable job there.
And just a reminder to people, there was about 3 or 4 feet of water in that basement.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
There was a lot of damaged things there.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we were able to
they needed to
rectify
come
that.
out.
And
We're-
it's looking great.
We were fortunate that we were able to have someone like Jeff
Yeah.
Jeff
Yes.
Wenzel,
Yeah.
who was
Agreed.
willing to put that partnership together. So his effort is greatly appreciated.
Yep.
Absolutely.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
forgot he was still. All of a sudden, the picture's talking to me.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So the process with them is very unique and leads to great results for the town and the students. That was something that was abundantly clear when I visited Bay Path to go over the budget with them. The pride that they show in their workmanship is, truly remarkable. So when those students go by there, by hopefully 10 West, our community center, in the future, they're going to go, I had a hand in
Yeah.
making, that building what it is. So that's something that's huge, and it just really gives back to the school and the community. So I'm thrilled that we have this going on. Another piece of good news is I received a letter on Friday that we are now officially compliant with the MBTA Communities Act.
Oh, good.
So we are all set with that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
That's excellent
So-
news.
A lot of work put in there, but
Yes, absolutely. So that is definitely something that a lot of boards, committees, Neil, Roberta,
Yep.
they were incredible spearheading that effort. but it couldn't have been done without them or without the numerous boards and committees doing their part. So, and with town meetings. So,
Say ultimately the town meeting.
Yeah.
correct.
yeah.
So I'm glad that everyone got behind it, and we're now in full compliance.
I do want to give Roberta an extra shout out for
Yeah.
bringing in the
Absolutely.
firms that she brought in to
Yeah.
help talk to residents, because I think that push is what made the difference. So thank you to
Neutral
Roberta. We are
person.
now compliant. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
That was a great effort.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's a wrap for me.
All right. Citizens speak.
Crickets.
I just need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We're adjourned.
Night.
Bye, Jeff.
Night.
Right.